Hey everyone, Leanne here from Kingdom Bloggers. Today we are going to be talking about target audience. What is a target audience? Why is it so important that you have one? And most importantly, how do you actually do target audience research? So, this is a very vital step that is often overlooked by most bloggers when they first get started. It's like, hey, I want to start a Christian blog. I just want to write about Jesus, and it's for everybody. But that is not a good strategy if you want to actually see growth. Here's why. Everything on the internet, whether it's content websites, whether it's social media, YouTube, even places like Etsy and, marketplaces where you buy stuff, everything really comes down to what we call SEO. Now, I do want to say SEO now is different than what it was, but there's still a foundation to it. SEO is search engine optimization, which is a fancy way of saying creating content, optimizing it in a way that people can find it. Why do they find it? Because they are looking for it. And when it comes to Christian content, of course, there's some things that it doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, young, old, whatever. You may look up certain things like who was Ruth in the Bible? Like that's a pretty standard thing. But how you write the content and how you apply scripture really does matter in relation to the person that you're intending it for. Talking about Ruth and Boaz when you're talking about love and dating and relationships, or, waiting on God when you're going through a season of, not getting what you are asking God for and things like that. So your target audience is it's designed to help you. Here's three reasons. So your target audience, there's really three reasons that we need to have one. Number one, it helps you focus your content so that you're not like all over the place. It's like every week you just write about something that really doesn't have anything to do with what you wrote about last week, other than it came from the Bible. You need your content to be relational and sort of be building blocks, right? That way you are creating. Okay, so there's what I say, three main reasons that we have a target audience. Number one, it's going to help you focus your content plan. What I see a lot of bloggers do, Christian bloggers and regular bloggers too, honestly, is you just kind of write about whatever. This week really doesn't have any relationship to what you published last week other than it's biblical. And so we really want to focus our content, the kind of content that we're creating, and focus it to help a very specific person out there. Why? Because we want to reach that person. When we put content out on the internet, again, whether it's YouTube or, written blog content, things like that, when people go to Google or they go to the YouTube search box or they go to Etsy search box, they are searching for very specific things. And a lot of times, these things are going to be tailored, like the things they're searching for are really tailored to them in their season, their demographic, whatever. And so, knowing who you are trying to reach is important. So, number two, so that you create content that they are seeking and want more of. Again, if you're writing about this one week and something else next week, the person's really like, well, I mean, I liked last week's content, but this week has nothing to do with me. So if you stay focused to a particular person, meeting their needs, meeting their online search habits and things like that, you're going to reach more of them. One, because you're going to satisfy more of their search queries, regardless of the platform they're searching on, but you're also going to create content that they're going to want more of. And then number three, the reason we have a target audience is because this helps you create like the building blocks, the foundation for all the other things, whether if maybe you're starting with just a blog, okay, at some point you need to add YouTube. At some point, you're going to create digital products. At some point, you're going to send out emails and so forth, maybe social media, whatever. All of that needs to be focused to the same person for the same purpose. So a target audience is who you are trying to reach and what are you trying to reach them for and how are you going to meet that need, right? So your who, your what, and your how, that is what target audience and target audience research is all about. So another thing that target audience research, like really getting in and researching, which we're going to do here in a minute, is it helps you figure out where they are. And this is so important. You know, the dynamics of the online space are changing constantly. And in the last couple of years, probably the last 2, 3 years, they've changed dramatically. People just don't read as much anymore. They don't necessarily Google things in the same way that they did maybe 5 years ago. What they are doing is consuming video content, content on social media and other places in, larger amounts than they did before. Also, there are certain demographics that really just don't do the Google thing. The young adults, kind of, I don't know, under 25 maybe. If you're wanting to reach that age group, then TikTok is where you need to be, or at least some social media, preferably TikTok, because that's where they are. If you're writing blog content to try to reach an 18 or 19-year-old young, Christian girl, you're not going to have much luck with it because she's not Googling, she's TikToking. And so it's very important once you've like established your who and your what and your how, that actually the how is going to come after the research, but your who and your what, then you got to figure out where they are. Where do they hang out most? Because there's no use in you spending all your time and energy writing blog content if they're not reading it. Now, not to say you don't want to have the blog because that can serve a purpose, but the majority of your effort and energy should be into learning content creation in video platforms and things like that for TikTok or Instagram or other platforms, YouTube even. So target audience research is like, if you don't do it, you're going to have a really hard time building a ministry that's going to actually grow and kind of be self-sustaining, if you will. Okay, so we're going to kind of dive in. I'm going to give you some tips for like how to do the research in certain areas and things you probably didn't even think of are places to research. And these, you should be doing it in all these places because even if your audience is more so in one space than the other, do it in all the spaces because that's just going to give you more data and might help you reach the few people that are in those, not so much used places. So, okay, the first one we're going to dive into is Google. Now, when I say Google, this is Google, Yahoo, Bing. We just use Google because for the most part, it's the number one content search search platform in the world. So we kind of use it as the standard. So you're going to start with who are you trying to reach? So let's say Christian women. Now, I do have a target audience planning, like a workbook. I would definitely recommend you go through that to help you narrow down a lot of these things like their age, their seasonal life, the more particulars, because the more focused and detailed you get in describing him or her or the group, whatever group this may be, the better you're going to come up with pain points. And the pain points are the most important thing because the pain points are what you are going to help with through your content. But you're just going to start here in Google. Now, if you have keywords everywhere installed, I actually have it turned off right now, but it'll show you search volume. But even without the search volume, so let's say I want to help women, better understand the Bible. So like my ministry is teaching Bible for dummies, basically. It's breaking down scripture in like the most basic way, Bible stories, things like that. So I'm going to say Bible study. Just as we start typing this, you can see these things, these are like related searches, and these are the top related searches that automatically populate. Now, again, if you have keywords everywhere installed, it'll actually give you kind of search volume. We used to do this when we were writing for SEO. I don't so much use it anymore. But this tells me, okay, people are looking for Bible study for women, Bible study guide, Bible study tools, lessons for adults. Let's try it with an IES. Bible studies for couples, men, kids, teens. So Bible study and Bible studies are pretty big, even in Google. Now, it is harder to get things to rank on Google, but this still gives you an idea of the type of content people are searching for. Now, you can take this a step further into specific topics. Who was Ruth in the Bible, right? And these are other things that you would include in the content. I'm not saying write a whole new blog post for each one of these, but look, Ruth in the Bible is a pretty popular thing people are looking for. So you're thinking of the things you're trying to help her with, and you're researching to see if and how they're being searched for. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a hack to kind of simplify this process. So be sure to stay to the end. Right now, I want to run through each of the actual platforms to kind of show you. Okay, so Google, you're going to type in different things. Now, I do want to mention this because I've had students in past boot camp classes who decided, their target audience was, let's say, empty nesters. This is just one example. And so everything they typed in for empty nester, they were trying to help empty nesters kind of find their new place in the world. Like, okay, I'm no longer, I'm not really momming anymore. My kids are moved out. I mean, you're always a mom, but you know what I mean? And now it's like, okay, what do I do with my life now? And how to, lean into God into the next season using their gifts and talents and all that. So their focus when they would come in here and start doing research was really empty nester. And there's just not a lot. People aren't looking up empty nester. So you have to get to the meat and potatoes of the pain points that person would literally be struggling with. Now, we know what we need, most of us, right? But we don't actually go search for the direct thing we need. Like how to grow closer to God as an empty nester, something like that. Nobody's searching for that. So this is a part that's going to be difficult, but again, I have a hack for it at the end of this video, is to really buckle down on researching what problems does this person has as it relates, or at least kind of relates to what you're trying to offer. This would be Bible study for, so empty nester. A correlation is retirees, because often those two kind of happen at about the same time in life or a little before. And I only know this because I've done this research. So you kind of have to dive into these and get really detailed on pain points that this person that you're trying to help is having. Let's say you're helping young moms, like young Christian moms. They want to raise their kids in a godly home, because the world's crazy. They also need to learn how to rest in Him and find peace in Him and get their spiritual nourishment as well. And maybe also provide some resources for, homemaking, happy home. So what kind of things would help this person? What kind of things related to that would this person be searching for? Well, when you come to raising godly children, how about Bible lessons for kids? Not so much the devotional, how to raise a godly kid, but things that she would physically be looking for, like, I don't know, Noah's Ark coloring pages, Bible story study lessons, things like that. So but you have to get here and do that research. When it comes to her and her spiritual nourishment, devotional content is really good for this. Bible studies, things like that. So this part is going to be the hardest for you, but it is so important, because if you're not creating content that they're actually seeking, who's going to find it? If you're just creating content that you think people need, what we think people need and how they search for content or help or whatever, completely different. You have to get into their mind to determine how they are seeking for this information. Okay, so that was Google. YouTube is basically going to be the same thing. The search engine works the same way. We could say Bible study. These are ones that come up. Bible study for beginners, Bible study lessons. These are some of the more popular ones, and so forth. So you would come in here and do that. Now I'm going to show you TikTok and Instagram, but I have to unplug my mic. So give me just a second for that. But first, I actually want to show you one that you probably wouldn't think of in target audience research, and that's Etsy. As a Christian content creator, you have a very huge opportunity for creating digital products, Bible study materials, prayer materials, and really anything in between. So as you are mapping out your target audience, you don't want to overlook what kind of printables are they looking for. Now, we're specifically talking about digital products, not Christian jewelry, not t-shirts. I mean, they would look for those things too, but we're really focusing on the things that you can create, which are printables, aka digital products, because then you can sell them on Etsy, Gumroad, Teachers Pay Teachers, and other places. There is an entire lesson in the bootcamp course, in the SEO course, on digital product creation. So, okay, so in here, we're going to get to Bible study, journal, guide, gifts, printable. Let's see if we got lessons, Bible study, guide. Let's see what's in here. So we have lots of Bible study guides, chapter summaries. I can tell you personally that Bible study lessons, Bible reading plans, character studies, topical studies, they do very well on here. How do I know? Because I have an Etsy shop and I make consistent sales every single month on my products. So getting in here and kind of, again, prayer, you could do prayer, worksheets like Bible study lessons for kids, homeschool. Don't negate the word homeschool because most homeschool families are Christian. A lot of them are. And so they may be looking for homeschool activities that are faith-based as well. So definitely get in here and do your Etsy search. Okay, so now we're going to hop over to TikTok. And I just want to say when that opens up, the sound's going to be different because I have to unplug my mic because I only have one USB port that I can use. Okay. All right, so let's open up TikTok here. I don't think y'all can hear the audio. I think I have that disabled, but so you're just going to go up here to this search box, okay? And you're going to type in, again, the same kind of things you were searching in the other platform. So we're going to do Bible study. Now, I'm just using Bible study. Of course, you're going to use whatever your focus is going to be: spiritual nourishment, Christian moms, raising godly children. Kind of start with the very basic foundational searches and then get into the more detailed, once you figure out the pain points and things like that. So as you can see here, guides, books for women, that 4 with the ... that's going to be for beginners. Tools, journal. So people are looking for these kinds of things in TikTok. And because they are Bible study, guides, workbook, journal, these are all things that you can create as digital products. And I want to make this very clear. Your content, yes, you will have some blog content and you will have a website because this is where you may house some of these items. And we're going to talk more about that later in the course. But a lot of your things that you create, because again, your purpose is to help the person, might be in the way of digital products, not 2,000 word blog posts. And so it's very important that you kind of get this mindset that blogging is not just about a blog, a website with written content. Blogging is like the whole picture. Website, YouTube, social media, digital products, and there's probably some other things out there that I didn't mention. So doing your research in social media is going to help, because again, people are using social media more now than they have, in say 5 years ago. So it's very important that you understand what they are searching for there. Social media is not for you to just share a graphic with a Bible verse on it. That's not how people want to consume content in a social media space. So, it's just important you understand that. Okay. So, oops. So that's one. You could even go deeper. Let's search here. Let's do Christian. No, this Christian parenting. There we go. Toddlers, podcasts. Let's see. Parenting books. That's what that one was. Tips. quotes, engagement ideas, toddler, again, tons of stuff. Now, while you are in here, let me actually go back to that Christian parenting toddler. So as you're doing your research, not only are you looking for the keywords, like the topics, when you're doing this research in social media, so TikTok, Instagram, even Facebook, YouTube, things like that, aside from the topic itself, you really also need to get in here and see how the content is being created. Because to be successful in the social media space, you have to learn how to create the content in a way that people want to consume it. Unfortunately, that might involve dancing. Sometimes, it's just B-roll video with text overlays and things like that. And so getting in here and just seeing like, okay, I'm talking about Christian toddler parenting. What are they talking about, right? And then follow some of these people so you can get a feel for the type of content. I mean, this one, let's see. You can see that, like, this young girl on the right, Bailey. This video, 9908. This one up here, top left, Christian shows my kids love, right? 33,000 visits or views. So these are the kinds of things you want to be looking at, is the ones with the higher views. Okay, next one, same thing. You're going to do basically the same thing in Instagram. Now, Instagram, you can search by Bible study. Again, I'm just using Bible study. And hopefully most people understand when they create their profiles to put that keyword in their name, or at least in their description. Let's say you wanted Christian parenting. So all of these have Christian parenting in their name. So I would go check out these profiles and see, what kind of content they're creating, specifically the video content, specifically ones that have higher views on them. Like, what kind of content are they creating? Okay. Again, it's important to know with social media, you are going to have to do video, but you need to understand how those videos are created. Like, it's not just you always just speaking. Sometimes there's music, sometimes there's other things. So that is Instagram and TikTok. Okay, so that's how you kind of dive in and start beginning to research what your audience is searching for and how, like, what actual words are they searching for it. Again, it's to get your head space in the what are they looking for, not what do I think they need, what do I want to share with them. It's not about you, it's about them. So Pinterest is another one, how people, like, what kind of content they're searching for in Pinterest. I will actually drop the link to my video for Pinterest SEO in the notes below. If you're doing my SEO course, there's an entire lesson on Pinterest in there, but I will put the Pinterest SEO video down below. All right, so the final thing I want to share with you, and this is probably the one that you're going to use most, I saved the best for last, is, the important thing, you're starting with basics, right? Bible study, okay? But I don't just want to give Bible study lessons. I really want to get to the heart of their struggles. How can I help them, in a more deep and meaningful way? What kind of content can I create that will actually speak to the pain points they're having in this season of life? Y'all know how much I love ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been such a game changer, a time saver. It has helped me become so much more efficient, so much more effective. When you're doing your target audience research, it is going to be the best friend you've ever had. So let's hop over here. This is going to be an evolving chat. We call these chats in here, right? So to begin your target audience research, you need to give ChatGPT a really good description of who he or she is, okay? So I'm just going to do this one. Also, you need to tell it who it is. You are a Christian blogger who creates content to help young Christian moms. Now, again, you need to describe who your person is. So who they are, And then what are you helping them at? I'm helping them spend more time in the Bible, grow closer to God, raise godly children, and also and other similar things. I want to really target her pain points. Please give me a list of 10 pain points Christian moms struggle with today. Now, I like to add a such as and give one example just so it understands the direction I'm going. So we're going to do, and now we're waiting. As it's going through, you may need to tweak it a little bit. Sometimes it's spot on. Sometimes you may tweak and add and give it a little more details. This is pretty good. She feels spiritually drained. Okay. So it's going to probably give me 10 here. So now what I want to do is ask for ideas to help with each pain point. For each pain point listed above, provide. So if you're going to write blog content, if you're going to write or create video, if you're going to do, social media. So let's do, for each pain point listed above, provide 5 ideas for a blog post, YouTube video, and social media content, static and reels. And let's see what it gives us. Now, the thing with this type of content, these aren't necessarily going to be the kinds of things they would Google, but these are the kinds of things that would pique their interest if they see it in a social media feed or if they saw it on a Pinterest pin. It's a visual cue, kind of like all those magazines in the checkout aisle, like the Inquirer. Never go looking for that. Well, you might, the recipe stuff, the crazy stories. But when you see it there, you're like, oh my gosh, what's this? This is kind of that same mindset. So while social media does have an SEO factor, once they're following you, it's the clickbait of the post itself. What content is going to get them to stop scrolling and actually click and read or watch or whatever? So this can give you ideas for blog content. Now, this is not SEO blog content. This is what we call social content. There is a video that shows you what the difference is. But this takes the guesswork out of how do I write content that's going to speak to her needs? So here we go. So for blog post ideas, YouTube videos, static social media, reels, right? Just ideas. Again, it's to hit those pain points. Now for the reels, this could also be YouTube shorts, things like that. You need to see how they're done in the platform. Are they, with music? Are they text overlay? Whatever. But this is the idea for the content. And so you're basically just going to do this. So whatever your target audience is, you want to come in here. Okay, I'm a Christian blogger who does this for who and what. Now, I need their pain points. So whether you're, this was for Christian moms. We could also do, let's do another one. Creates content to help new believers better understand scripture and what it means to follow Jesus. I want to create content to help, make a list of the pain points most new Christians have. And then go from there. So new believers, college age, young adult, single young adult Christian women, um, you know, singleness, dating, Christian marriage, um, Christian women in an older season of life. Let's actually do that one. So let's come back down here. So these are pain points for this one. So understanding the Bible, feeling unqualified, overcoming past mistakes and shame, that's a big one. So this is really giving your content ideas. You don't even need to do Google keyword research. This is telling you this is what this person is looking for, right? So let's do it with this one. I want to help Christian women in, let's see, older Christian women over 50 who are struggling in this season of life and wondering how they fit or what God, or if God can use them, or if God can use them. Points she might have. Again, excuse me. So tweak your target audience description, like your person here, and then just ask it. And then here's the final part. So, let's go back to the Christian mom thing up here. Can get my mouse to work properly. Feeling spiritually drained. So exhausted Christian mom might be the keyword that you would search in Google, in TikTok and Instagram, things like that. Devotional for moms, right? I've seen the word devotional here. Balancing family and life as a Christian mom, things like that. So this is where you get more of the more detailed, more specific ideas, other than just Bible study. So speaking of Bible study, we'll come here. Let's see. So we have understanding the Bible. Well, of course, Bible study for beginners, that's an easy one. You could do content about um, honestly, Bible study lesson, Bible reading plan, topical study plans for any of these topics, shame, navigating changes in relationships, things like that. So I can't stress how much that Chat GPT has saved me so much time and honestly gray hair, because it is harder and harder now to figure out how to write content or create content. I keep saying writing because I'm so used to blogging, but as we move into 2025 and beyond, you have to think beyond SEO, blog content, written content. You have to think in terms of social media. You have to think in terms of, YouTube, things like that. Your content can still be held, like you can write the blog post, but then you would create video content to match the blog post. So this one gave you blog and video ideas for the same topic, and put them, the video in the blog, and in the video description, put a link to the blog post. Create study plans, printable study questions, lessons, devotionals, whatever to go along with that. And this is where I talk about your target audience research really helping you create a foundation for long-term and sustainable growth. Growth being the operative word. You can create blog content, but if that's all you ever do and you create it just focused on the blog itself, not really thinking about other things you want to create, like other things like video, digital products, and all of that, then when you get ready to move to those platforms, it's kind of like you kind of have to go back to the drawing board all over again. And so when you approach it in this manner, even if you're not ready to do those other things just yet, the content you're going to create today is going to be created in a way that when you are ready to jump to the next level, say start your YouTube channel or start on TikTok or, an Etsy shop or whatever, you already know what content you're going to be creating there, because it's going to be based on the original thing you created, because you created it from the research for everything. I hope that makes sense. So, okay, I know this was a lot. I will include the videos that I mentioned, the Pinterest SEO, and also I have a more detailed video about ChatGPT prompts. I will link those below as well. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask. Drop a comment below, or of course, you can hop over to my Facebook group. Until next time, I will see you guys all in the next video. God bless. Bye-bye.